Alright, good morning everyone. Got Blinu build video today. Let's just get right into it. Oh. So here's rough stats, front bar, back bar. You can see the spell and physical resistance, all that good shit. But of course, we're not in combat, so some of these stats aren't exactly accurate, but you get the rough idea. Going over attributes, I am an Imperial, running 10 magic, 48 health, 6 stamina. This is just how I like it. You can adjust it if you want. I found being above like 35k health is pretty nice for this build right now, and I don't like to dip below like 16k of each resource. So 40% crit rating, which really helps to proc our set that we are running. We'll get into that later. Crit resist looks low, but we are running a set that's going to boost our crit resist, which I will get into. For Mundus, we are running the Thief. This is going to increase our spell and weapon crit, so you could change this to the Shadow if you want to, but I had more success with the Thief. For our food, Jewels of Misrule, pretty standard in this patch right now. I think pretty much everybody's running it. Just gives us max health and then those recoveries. Vamp stage 3 is a necessity. So let's go ahead and get into the sets. As you can see, we are running Roksa. Now this build is a 3 heavy, 2 light, 2 medium build. So we are rocking the heavy helm and Roksa in pin. And we are running a sturdy light shoulder. You could probably make these whatever really you want to, but this is just kind of what I have and what I'm fine with keeping. Our next set we are running is Night Mother's Gaze. This is a craftable set, so it's good. You can get it very easily if you have a crafter or have access to somebody who can craft. We are running a reinforced chest, reinforced legs, and well-fitted medium boots. And for enchants on this stuff, you can do all health if you want to, or just like mix and match. Like I said, my goal is just to get to rough stats, like right here. So you could try stat it if you want. It's kind of expensive, but I don't really find that there's a really big point in try statting that. It's going to bring our max health a lot lower than we want, and it's going to bring our other 2 stats a lot higher than we want. So you could tri-stat some pieces. As you can see, I have some tri-stat, but then some I just have as max health to optimize for that max health that I want. We are also running 2 sharpened axes of Night Mother. You could do a charged if you want to, or a Nern honed on these. It really doesn't matter. It's your preference. I like running the 2 axes. Some people like running an axe or a mace, or an axe and a sword. Really up to you. This is how I like it. Disease enchant and crusher enchant, you could probably do a shock or a frost or fire. Really up to you. This is how I like it. For our other body piece, we're running a medium belt of trainee in pen to boost up that max health as well. So for our other set, we are running Rallying Cry. This will be our last set that we're going over. And in this, I'm also running a light glove. So I'm running shoulders and gloves light, boots and belt medium, chest, head, and legs and heavy. So this was the set that's going to boost our crit resist, and it's going to give us some extra damage too. So that's why our crit resist is so low. But it's fine because this will proc pretty much all the time. We are running Rallying Cry on the necklace and the ring. This is arcane, but I'm actually going to swap it to Swift probably, or Infused. I think I accidentally deleted the Swift or Infused one that I had and didn't notice, but I have it as arcane for right now. I would just say go Swift or Infused or Bloodthirsty if you want to. Any one of those 3 would be fine. As you can see, this is an Infused. With how I like to play this build, it's either Infused or Swift. Swift is what I'll probably transmute this one into. I like being fast with this build. That's kind of part of the whole idea behind it. Next, we are running Markyn Infused. Now, this is going to give us an extra little bit of weapon and spell damage and 2300 armor. You could run Sea Serpents if you want to, as I was before, and it would just look something like this. So as you can see, the Swift is what I prefer. At least one piece of Swift is what I prefer. And you could run it like this. There's nothing wrong with this. You will have a lot more damage. But with how I play myself and with my two friends, this has gotten me killed more times than it's helped me kill people. When you start fighting a lot of these groups where you're outnumbered, this might just get you killed. So I took it off for Markyn and running the necklace instead. But let's go ahead and get into the skills, and then we'll get into the CP. So this is actually, or I should say, this is a pretty typical setup I think I've seen floating around on Templar. But what I never have seen in their videos, because this is sort of my own rendition of it, is it's poorly unoptimized, and in a lot of the other videos I've tried, it just sucks. It doesn't do hardly any damage. And you can survive, but, you know, what's the point of surviving if you can't kill anyone? So I've tried to optimize it skills-wise as much as possible. We're going to take all the passives from all these skill lines. But one of the main important things that makes this different than other builds, we're running stam jabs. So kind of the problem with setting up these skills is that you don't really want to waste a slot, in my opinion, on using something like Degeneration from the Mages Guild to give you spell power, and I really don't want to use Rally or anything like that. So I want to get it to where I can get a lot of buffs really without having to use buffs, so to speak, and waste up precious slots here. So we slotted Biting Jabs, which is the stamina version. It's going to snare enemies for 40%. And what's nice about this is that as our main spammable, we're pretty much going to keep up the Major Brutality and Sorcery like clockwork. It's going to be 24/7. We're running Camo Hunter from the Fighters Guild. This is going to boost our crit even more. We gain crit damage from the flank. I don't see any reason why you'd want to run Mage Light over this, because the passives for Fighters Guild are too good. We gain a lot of stuff here that I think just outclasses anything here in Mages Guild. Maybe if you're a Sork or something and you're running max stats, I can see running that, but we're going with Camo Hunter. It's going to give us 3% for each Fighters Guild ability slotted. So we're gaining a 6% extra damage bonus with our ult. Next ability is Power of the Light. This is going to give us Minor Breach on the enemy, which is just going to go super well with Night Mother's Gaze. All in all, we're going to be breaching their armor for about 9,000 extra. So while our penetration here doesn't look amazing, we're going to pretty much pen them for about 16k. And like I said, I play with two friends pretty much all the time. So I'm literally debuffing the enemy an extra 16,000 for their attacks. So it's really helpful. On to the next skill, we're running Vigor. This is pretty much like a must. Not only is it a good heal, but it also gives you Minor Resolve, increasing your physical and spell resistance by 3k. That's pretty much self-explanatory. That is in Assault. Radiant Oppression for the Execute. You could take the healing one if you want to, but this one's so much better. It's just going to hit way harder. It's going to proc your Power of the Light much faster since it does more damage. And the way you want to play this is you want to play your Power of the Light as much as possible. I heard they nerfed this and it's not as good as it used to be, but it's still pretty good in my opinion considering you have the Minor Breach applied to it. And you leave it, you put it on, and you can drop it and time it with Dawnbreaker. and you can get a little bit more burst out of it, out of your combo than without this, in my opinion. So that's it for the front bar skills. Like I said earlier, we're running Dawnbreaker. This is my only stun, so, you know, if you really wanted to, how I was running this before was I took off Power of the Light, and I was running Toppling Charge. I mean, this is nice because it gives you major protection, but I just don't really know how I feel with the, you know, like gap close, and I don't know. I just was feeling like I was lacking damage, so I took that off. Going on to our back bar skills, we are running Race Against Time. It's going to remove snares off us and make us speedy and give us extra crit. Second skill is Living Dark. Any enemy who essentially attacks you is going to be snared by 40%, I believe, if they deal direct damage to you. This is going to heal you as well, so this is nice. Good little defensive heal. Third, we got Honor the Dead or Breath of Life. This is your burst heal. It's really not that great, honestly. But as far as everything else goes, it kind of gets the job done. The main problem I have with it is that it just costs so much. It's 4,300, and it's not nearly as good as things as like Dragon's Blood and, you know, other spammable burst heals that other classes have. But it's what we got, so it's what we're going to use. And a lot of this, you know, since this is so mediocre, we're going to kind of rely a little bit more on these other heals that we have slotted here too. So moving on to the next one, Restoring Focus. This is your main major resolve buff. So I'm running the stamina version. Reason being is that since basically all of our damage is stamina based, besides Radiant Oppression, I found that running the Magicka version of this morph, which I believe, I don't recall exactly what it gives you, but they have a magic and stamina version. The stamina version just also lets you recover 242 stam every 1 second. So that comes about to almost 500 stamina recovery. So this is huge. This is awesome. I ran the magical one. You know, it's fine. Run it if you want to, but tried and true for me. I've been playing with this build. This is what I like. Keeps my stam up in the fight, and it also gives you increased healing. That's the morph of this one compared to the magic one, which scales off our max health. So, which is, like I said, this kind of goes back to we want to have a high health pool and all that. Our last skill here is Extended Ritual. This is going to be your purge cleanse. It's like a dot meta. All of this, you know, bullshit with Vatrin and Master's Dual Wield, that shit's lame. Use this, purge it off you, make their shit useless as fuck. It lasts a long time and it gives us a good heal, but anytime I come across somebody who's running Vatrin or any of that shit, I just purge it off, and then they really can't do shit because they're crutching on weapons that give them free damage. So anyways, and then we're running Undo for our ulti on the back bar. This gives us minor protection. Kind of some good utility too, you know, if you're kiting, you can jump off a tower and cast this and then teleport back up while everyone else just jumps off. So that's pretty much it for the skills. You know, you're going to want all of these passives, dual wield, destruction staff. The only passive we are not taking is Tri-Focused. I did not know when I started playing this game again after a long break that this passive is what makes your blocking magic instead of stamina. So we want to keep our block as stamina. Otherwise, your magic pool is going to be fucked. I got all the light armor and heavy armor passives. Vampire, you know, your typical passives. Fighters Guild, Sigic. Undaunted is important. We gain 6% here for our resources. So keep that in mind. Don't sleep on this. If you don't do PvE, just go do it for a little while. You know, do your daily vet dungeons and all that. Get your keys, get your transmutes, all that shit. Do the normal random dungeon. This is a good passive to have. So I mean, if this, let's just consider this 10%. If I had 40k health, that's an extra 4,000 health. So cut that in half. You're looking at an extra 2k health essentially off of 40k. So if this was 5%, 6% roughly, I'm just kind of guesstimating here. So it gives you a decent amount of stats, so don't sleep on that. Assault passives, I got all of them. Support, I think I got a couple, it's not really important. Imperial, obviously. And then, your alchemy bullshit. So let's go ahead and get into the CP. This kind of can be done however you want it, but I will tell you what I have. So we have Plentiful Harvest, War Mount, Treasure Hunter, Gifted Rider. This is all dumb shit, but this is just what I like. So let's get into the real deal here. So I'm running Thaumaturge, which helps with our damage over time effects. This is going to be like jabs and my Radiant and the dot portion of Dawnbreaker, etc. Master at Arms, direct damage. This is going to be also your jabs. So, and I think your Power of the Light as well. Let's see. We're running Focused Mending, which increases healing done with single target heals by 2% per stage. You could take this off if you want to. I enjoy it because, like I said, we're in a dot meta right now, or like a proc, whatever you want to call it. This is good. It's boosted my healing, and anything to get or make those dots useless is what I'm down for. You could take this off and you could run some more into damage, like Deadly Aim or Biting Aura if you want to. There's so many other things you could do if you want. This is how I like it. Focused Mending. Our last one is Fighting Finesse. This goes back to our crit, being crit based in damage. Crit's super big right now. So this is going to give us 8% crit damage and crit healing, which is good because it's going to make our really lame Breath of Life crit for a lot more. When they crit, they're pretty good heals. So, it's also going to make all of our shit crit. So, no reason to not run this. And then I just got all this junk in here. Kind of whatever you have. I know everybody has different CP numbers, so it's kind of really whatever you have going on. But yeah, if you don't want to run this, you could just put into damage, but I think this is best for how I play. And if you want to take off Rallying Cry, like I mentioned earlier, go in here and get Resilience because you will need it. Or you'll need to make all your gear in pen, or probably both. For the red skill tree, we are running Survival Instincts. This is going to make our skills, our combat skills, 5% less per stage. I want to say this is like your sprint, all of that shit. Your dodge roll, your block, all of that, your break free. This is going to make that 5% less per stage, so 25% in total, which is pretty big. And since we are Imperial, this is going to be even better for us because now we're really getting the cost of everything super low. So this is extremely useful. Our next one we got here is Pain's Refuge. Reduce your damage taken by 2% for every 2 negative effects. So this is kind of like whatever because, or for me, in my opinion, I think it's good to have, but I'm on Templar, so I'm going to be cleansing a lot of negative effects anyways. Now, that being said, the reason why I still run it is while I'm kiting, it still helps out because I'm not always going to drop a purge, every 2 seconds. You just burn through your resources that way, and it just wouldn't be good. So it's still good to have this for when you're kiting. Next passive is Sustained by Suffering. This is just going to give us 150 health, magic, and stam recuv while we are under negative effects. And for our last one, tying back into the speed of everything, we are running celerity. It's going to give us 10% movement speed overall if you max it out. So, like I said, as in the other tree, you know, just kind of get whatever you want here. Like we don't have anything over here, but I took the block or the break free reduction and all that, and you know, kind of just make it however you want. You know, you don't need to run it exactly like this. If you're not really big into running and you'd rather tank more than kite and stuff, I mean, I can do a little bit of both on here, and that's kind of what I like. But I'd say the capability is definitely more into kiting more than everything. But anyways, that's pretty much it for the build overall. You know, if you guys have any questions or anything, just drop them ahead in the comments. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching the video, guys, and have a good one.